What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine.
And now I'm still James.
I'm sorry for that little pause. I forgot what I was doing for a second. All right, we are doing a review on The Witcher, Netflix The Witcher starring Henry Cavill. But before we do that, we have an intro. All right. All right, we back. Excuse me. Oh, come on, TV. All right, welcome back. We are reviewing Netflix, The Witcher, starring Henry Cavill. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but whatever. Everybody know the dude, Superman.
Right.
So they dropped on Netflix. Now this was a video game.
It was a book first, and then a video game.
Right. I didn't. Now I am a casual. I told you that on this, but I am somewhat got some knowledge. I'm not gonna just talk on my ass and not know what I'm saying.
Right.
I remember you told me it was a book first, and then they made a video game out of it. So it's got fans from different parts that was fans of different mediums of it. Like you got fans that was fans of the books and fans that was fans of the video game. Question: Did they make both fans happy?
I think so, man. I really do. Because there's always been a couple of things in the games that some of the fans of the books have been like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go. That's not how it's supposed to be. And also there's a couple of things in the series that they actually changed from the books and the games that's actually pleased people that came from both.
So they did some original things that most people opinion approved upon what they could have done in the books. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Which that's always a good thing. And then you got those purists who are like, well, that's not exactly how it went. Well, kind of like with Watchmen, with a giant squid monster destroying the city. Like that wouldn't have worked.
Right. Exactly.
It's certain things that you certain changes that you welcome that could definitely make the story better.
And I will say for the purists that I've been hearing from since this series came out, most of their complaints have been kind of cringy,
Yeah.
So
most times those purists are just they on the island and they screaming out, well, this is not like this. It's not like stop it, man. Just enjoy it. Stop doing that.
So like there was a casting choice in this that I initially said, well, that don't quite look right. And then like I sat with I'm like, no, I'm cool with this. Cool with this.
What cast choice is that?
The woman they cast for Triss Marigold.
Which one is that?
That's the she's the I'm trying to remember where it was he met her. When he the princess, the cursed princess, the one he tried to save.
Oh, one the first episode?
No, not the first episode. I think this was the what was that?
Okay, all right, we'll get into it. We're gonna talk about these characters, and maybe it'll come back to you.
All right.
Excuse me. Maybe it'll come back to you once we start talking about these characters.
But yeah, I think that was like the third episode.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
But she's originally like she's white, red hair, green eyes, and they cast a woman of color for the series.
Oh, so you was down on that?
And well, it was just like
you said the purists was down on that.
The purists were, and like when I saw it, like my initial thing was like with Yennefer, it's like with those eyes, those purple eyes, you can recognize her right off the bat. There's only one character in the entire series that has purple eyes, so it's like, okay, that's gotta be Yennefer, whatever, let's go. But like,
okay, let's talk about. Hold on, let me slow you down a little bit.
Right.
Let's start talking about. Okay, let's talk about the synopsis, and then we're gonna start talking about some of the characters.
Okay.
Because I like the characters. Like I found myself rooting for Yennefer and all that, but then she got a little out of control. So we're gonna talk about that.
Right. Okay.
So the synopsis is Henry Cavill character is he's a witcher, which is like a mercenary, pretty much.
Kind of, sort of.
What?
Well, like so. The way I've been explaining to people is kind of like the Spartans from Halo, like they pretty much got snatched up as kids and mutated into perfect monster hunters.
Right, they hunt monsters. They have a guild. They have a guild, and they take payment though. It's not like they don't do service. They ain't heroes. They ain't superheroes. Right. So they don't do it because it's the right thing to do. They get paid.
Right. But like Luke Cage said, you got to pay me.
Right. Right. Hero for hire. But like you said, they was kidnapped and made to do this. And they also was mutated, which is kind of to me, it's like, that's a weak mutation, dog. That ain't no deformity or nothing. White hair and cat eyes. Like, okay, it's people that probably out here now that's look like that, man.
Well, I mean, like it's a whole process, though. It's a whole process. Like they gotta go through all these trials and everything. Like, so they slowly tweak their bodies to make them faster and stronger. They heal faster. They're a little more resistant to magic, stuff like that.
I was gonna ask you that because originally I thought he was maybe superhuman or can heal like Wolverine or something, and then I started noticing, okay, he got scars and he's get hurt like regular people.
Right,
is he just on par with a strong guy?
He's somewhere around or above Captain America.
Okay, so he's enhanced, but not so much that he can't get hurt, but he heal fast. Right, because he get hurt a lot.
Yeah,
and I want to talk about that. And then also the sword play was excellent, dude. On that first episode, I was surprised to see how good the sword play was.
Yeah.
And but I saw him getting cut and stuff, and I was like, okay, I guess he's gonna heal fast because those ain't wounds that you can just be like, oh, he was like, oh shit, okay. He like, you know what I'm saying? The wounds he was getting, he was like, I cut my thigh. It was kind of like he didn't care. So I was like, oh, he must heal fast. But then at one scene, I seen he had all these scars. I was like, oh, well, maybe he don't heal fast.
Like almost all of his scars, barring like 2 or 3 of them, are from monsters. So it's like, it's usually like if he gets an infection in a deep cut, like it's gonna scar just because it's gonna take longer to heal.
Okay, so the Witchers are like you said, a guild that charge people to take out monsters, and they kidnap people, or let's just say they use people.
Well, like, so in the books, as they explain, it's like they'll take like refugees and outsiders, and orphan kids.
Okay, kind of like how they did with Yennefer, where somebody that some people didn't want or whatever, and hey, we'll take them, and maybe she had power or whatever. We're gonna get to
like, so one of the things that they lay out is like part of the reason why some of them end up going, like sorcerers end up getting taken by the school, or dudes end up taken in as witchers, is like because the process sterilizes them. It's like we don't need them here, but look, we don't want them breeding with nobody, so we can just use them as monster killers and magic users, and they just won't be able to breed no more.
Right. I mean, that's just like the price you pay. I understand that. So let's keep on. Let's finish the synopsis. We didn't even finish the synopsis. The Witchers are like a guild that's like take out monsters for payment or whatever. And what's his name? Geralt.
Geralt.
Yeah, Geralt. It's he's your main character, Henry Cavill. And like I said, the name was like, oh, they mutated me, and all he got is white hair and cat eyes. I was like, man, you got the pretty boy mutation. Like that ain't shit. You got some people that turn into a damn donkey or something. You got that, and you complaining? Shut up.
I mean, it's a little more Jean Grey. He ain't really a Morlock or nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, okay, I mean, of course you the main character. You're not going to be ugly or deformed. But okay, so okay, his story is not really, I ain't gonna say it ain't connected to the main story. he's not. He's kind of like an outsider observer that come in and helps, but
Yeah.
with all what's going on, he ain't got a direct hand in it. Well, he do, but he end up having it.
Right.
But it's
He
all
functions
stuff.
as right. He functions as some of a linchpin. So all the important stuff kind of goes on around him, but it's
Yeah.
not about him.
Right. So it's a lot of Game of Thrones kind of things. And I was hearing people was comparing it to Game of Thrones, and it's definitely a similarity, but the tones are totally different. The
Yeah.
tones are so different that I can't really put them on the same level. But they got it's a lot of medieval like stuff with mixed with fantasy. So it's a lot of medieval stuff mixed with Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So it's like it's right there on that level. Because I think about Game of Thrones, it was more about politics and backstabbing
Yeah.
and all that. They didn't bring that fantasy into later. Like the fantasy was deep in the background on
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, and then all the fantasy elements start coming out way later in the show. The fantasy stuff right here is like right up front. Like it's
Right.
strong with the fantasy, with the elves and the dragons and all kind of little races or whatever. So it's a lot going on. It's like and you know what? I did not know that they was telling this non-linear until like the third episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of did give a
I
warning on that.
because I had been watching it with my roommate, and so like I had to kept reminding him, I was like, no, I know it feels weird that they went from this to this, but it's like these are like different stories that they just telling at the same time.
know,
They're not
but
occurring at the same
They
time.
didn't
Yeah.
give you no warning, or they didn't say
Yeah.
6 months earlier, or you didn't know that this was happening before. It was all gonna connect later.
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I thought this was happening now.
Because like
Unless
at first,
I missed something.
right. So at first I wasn't sure how to feel about that, but like I think they just wanted to make it clear that these stories all have their own, weight, I guess, in explaining how things get the way they get.
Okay, so what I'm talking about, they tell the story non-linear as they tell things that happened before, and then so they start off at one point, and then you go back and you see how they got to that point, which is a simple premise. They've done it before, but they kind of jump around a little bit, where you
Right.
kind of don't know where you at. Where I didn't know where I was at in the story. After a while, I was like, wait a minute. I thought this already happened, or I thought the person was already dead, So they going back and telling this, but they don't warn you. Unless I missed something, unless I didn't read the credits and they say 6 months earlier.
No, they didn't say nothing like that.
Okay, so they didn't
Like,
warn you about none
A
of that.
lot of it is just like context clues. So like that third episode, they mentioned something about I forget what the exact line is, but they say something about a sorceress who is on the outs with the Sorcerers Guild, and it's like that's supposed to be Yennefer.
Okay, so of course we didn't know who the hell she was, and they show
Right.
Yennefer. Now Yennefer's another character. She's a sorceress, and they show her backstory. It's kind of like it's almost like both of their stories to me.
Yeah,
Yennefer and Geralt. See, like I said, Geralt has less. He never want to get involved. He just always end up involved. One of them kind of deals.
like so the thing is like the whole of the story is like the three main characters, if you would, are supposed to be Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri.
Oh yeah. That's right. I'm gonna get to Ciri.
Right, and so Geralt pretty much exists as how Yennefer ends. Like he's what connects Yennefer and Ciri together,
Yeah.
and that influences the rest of the story going forward beyond what we've gotten in this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Yennefer got a backstory, which I said Yennefer's sources, and Ciri is a princess that it all connects. And I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say it's some Game of Thrones stuff going on where somebody's trying to usurp somebody. Maybe I can't even remember why the conflict was, but Ciri is like, what's her name? Which Stark? Which is the youngest girl Stark?
Bran or Arya?
Arya. Ciri's like Arya, where she kind of had to leave the home because she got attacked, and then she kind of like as she on her journeys, kind of learning you know, about herself, about her power, and what to do about this people that's after her. Now Yennefer is his powerful sorceress. Now they go back and show her backstory. Man, I feel so bad for her. Like, like, of course, you know, she's already kind of deformed. She got a crooked spine. She kind of got like I don't know if that was like a hump in her. I thought there was a hump in her shoulder. It was just her spine was crooked. Her face was kind of crooked.
So it's like all of that comes out of like the crooked spine. So she's got a humpback, you know, her jaw and her skull is somewhat malformed, you know, stuff like that, all that.
And, you know, I seen her, I was like, oh, and then immediately people just started, you know, picking on her. She got to sleep with the pigs, I think. Yeah. And it's so bad, man. I'm talking about they treat her like dog crap, you know, and it just blew my mind when he sold her for less than a pig. I was like, when she was like,
and he didn't even like hesitate when she offered to take it. Like, nah, you gonna have to pay me for that one.
no, he's like, how much for that? He's like, that's 4. Like, he's like the pig. He said, yeah, nah, pigs. He's like, was he a butcher? I think he's a butcher. He's like,
I think he just raised pigs, man. But like, he already had the price in mind.
Knife on and all that. I think he was a butcher. I guess he was he was on sale. You know, of course you need that for food. But he was he's like, yeah, pig is gonna cost you 10 marks. He's like, how much for the girl? Her?
I'll take 4.
He said, yeah, just give me 4. You can have that little beast.
Like, he didn't care at all, bro.
Yeah, man, I felt so bad for her. So they, like I said, they give her a backstory where she just done wrong. She's deformed, and she found out she has so she already has power, right? Or she just kind of know how to use it.
She already has some power, and I suppose that comes from her having like elf blood in her,
right? And that's the reason why she deformed,
right?
So I didn't know. I guess elves shouldn't mix with humans.
Apparently.
Or she only a quarter though, right? Or half.
Yeah. I think it's not like it's one of those things where it's like it's not necessarily gonna happen, but your chances increase, you know.
Okay. So she deformed and because of this she get like really trashed on. But this is the thing, she becomes a sorceress and a very powerful sorceress. I do like how, like I said, I was feeling her and I was on her side because, you know, she was kind of getting real ambitious because of the way she used to live. But I was like, okay, you getting a little out of hand. How do you feel about her?
You know, like, cause she started off with like a touch of that Frank Lucas vibe, man. You know, it's like, nah, if I'm gonna live in this world, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna own it. You know,
right?
But like then, go ahead.
The world did kick her in the ass like every day, every time she could. So I can understand her frustration and pain. Yeah. But it's like, how far are you trying to go?
Right. So at first it's like you can't. It's hard not to be on her side at first because it's like, you know what, you should get something back. Yeah, you are old. Sure. Wait, you doing what now?
Right. It's like, okay, are you the villain now? I thought you. But sometimes you see that too, where a person is a nice person and they just kicked around so much that they just become the villain. So you know, I started liking her. I was on her side. Later on in the series, though, they just, you know, you kind of forget all that humbleness because she's very arrogant now.
Yeah, and so it's one of the things where it's important to realize, like, this story, especially hers, is taking place over decades, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's like you're watching very different stages in her life, and so when she goes off the rails, it's like this, we got dark. Is all I'm saying. We got dark, and so it's like through the course of this series and through the course of the story, you get to see her become a much, much worse human being, and then like slowly become like almost reluctantly become a decent person.
Yeah. So they got like they got a 3-character arc that all comes together. I really like that. That's why I say this show is actually real good, man. It's real fun to watch, and I like the action and all that. So let me ask you this about Henry Cavill character. All the is that from the game?
Yeah.
That dude do that so much.
So Geralt is very much like, you know, he doesn't talk much. He prefers not to, you know.
I think they kind of changed that for him. Go ahead, finish.
So it's like they have a line later in the series when he's talking to Yennefer. He's like, every time I'm around you, I say more in 5 minutes than I've said in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I heard that. I remember him saying that.
And like that's straight up like he'll go like months at a time with no human contact, and the only living being he talks to is his horse.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I see him trying to do that, but it's like, man, I need you to stop acting like you're just super brooding, tough guy, because you're not. You're a nice dude that help every fucking body. You barely complete your job, and you always hurt yourself for other people. It's like, dude, stop. It's like, stop trying to act tough. Like, he's brooding. Don't talk to me. You know, I'm a mean guy. I don't want no friends. Dude, you help everybody. How do you not make friends?
So a big part of that is like Witchers have like extremely suppressed emotions. So like for the most part, it's not that he's trying. It's just that it takes a while to bring that out of him.
No, I see what they trying to do, but they have him do too much for me. I'd be like, man, you the nicest dude here, honestly.
So like some of it is just like he is a decent person. One of the reasons he doesn't like to get involved is because when he gets involved, he gets involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's just the fact that it's becoming an act of him trying to be this brooding tough guy that don't want to talk. You know, it's like, dude. Now
he just prefers to keep things simple. That's really what it is, you know?
And I guess everything keep happening where he. But see, the thing is, if you truly didn't care, you could just walk away from all this, because a lot of it don't directly mean it doesn't directly involve him where he has to do it. He just ended up helping people.
Like that's where a lot of the brooding comes in, though. It's like if it was on him, he'd stay away from it so he couldn't get involved. It's just the shit keeps happening around him, so it's like, I can't just let this pass. Like they actually go through in the books. The guy that trained him is like constantly down on him for constantly getting involved, and so it's like, man, you're a Witcher now. You don't just get involved in stuff. If there ain't no pay, you keep walking.
So in a way, I guess I can see what they're trying to do. He's trying to go against his nature to help people and be this tough Witcher, but he's clearly not. He's clearly a caring guy that tried to help everybody he can.
Pretty much.
And even with the cost of his own well-being, he helps people, because he always get fucked. He always get hurt. Everybody else get beat, and he'll fucking pass out. I don't know how many times this dude done passed out in this series. I'm like, damn, dude.
But like, and that's why the reason why every time anything like happens around him, he always has that nice little fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, man, why couldn't y'all wait 5 minutes for me to get out of town before y'all started something?
He said one time he did that, and because they found out that the queen found out her daughter was pregnant, and he was like, fuck. I was like, did he get her pregnant?
Okay, so this is one of those things, since you brought that up, this is one of those things that they changed from the books, right? So in the books and in the games, when he did that, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that he was like pretty much getting a child of surprise, as they call it.
Okay.
But in the show, they make it like he thought he was just taking the easy way out. He didn't.
Right now, yeah, I'll take that oath, because I know I ain't got to worry about that shit till a couple years. And the next thing you know, she pregnant now. Like, oh fuck.
Like the look on his face, like, fuck.
I thought he was saying that because, damn, because I had knocked it down a couple days ago.
Nah,
it could be mine.
It's like especially because like the moment he said, yeah, I'll do that. The loss of pride, that, yeah, I'll do that. Look, what have you done? It's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
So we can talk a little bit about that. That's about the plot. Okay, because like I said, it was told non-linear. So that came later, where. What's her name? Cecilia? Is that how you say her name?
Ciri. Her name is Cirilla.
Cirilla, her story come into play is because girl is connected to the queen's child. No, the queen's grandchild, right?
Cirilla is the queen's granddaughter.
Right. and he's connected to her because he promised that he'll protect her before she was born.
Right.
Which he was only said that just so he can get out of another debt or something like that. So this is how all these stories connect. So Yennefer, how did Yennefer connect in that story? Like, is she trying to usurp?
No. So
girl is protecting the girl, and Yennefer is.
So Yennefer and Geralt are bound by a wish Geralt made.
Oh. So yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember him hearing that wish or whatever.
So they don't tell you what the wish is in the moment, but like basically he wished that for her to stay in his life.
Whoa. Okay. That might be a spoiler, but just to say he made a wish and
made a wish. So like that, right? So they're connected by that, you know.
Okay.
So that's why they keep running into each other constantly.
Oh, so yeah, like I said, the show is great, man. It's and you know what? They pick up where the Game of Thrones left off with the nudity. Now that the similarities, they got the fantasy element and the nudity. Like the nudity and the sex is a lot. And,
you know, I think the main difference for me is like where Game of Thrones treats it like it's almost fetishized in Game of Thrones, you know. Whereas in Witcher, it's like, yeah, we got that. Anyways,
man, dude, like they had this orgy. They had this one scene where I guess everybody was in a trance. The whole town was in a trance, and they were all like in a big orgy.
Like I love that scene so much because it's like every time you ever see those scenes in any kind of movie, it's like everybody's getting in, and then you got that one person who's just there.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you come into that scene, like you got Geralt and Jaskier, and he's like carrying Jaskier in there, and she's just there sipping on some wine. Like this is
she got that for her entertainment. She just basically had all of them have orgies just so she can sit back.
Yeah, that's her Skinamax right there. You know what I'm saying?
She used her power to do that. But yeah, that, and then she pretty much like 60% of the movie she was topless. Like even when she had a hump in her back, she was getting it in.
Wait, look, let's be fair. If you went that far to look like that, you'd be showing it off too.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know, but I'm talking about even before she was getting it in when she had the hump in her back. You know what I'm saying? And I had to kind of look and say, damn, would I? I know she got a little hump in her back, but the rest of her body ain't too bad.
It looked like she knew what she was doing too. I ain't gonna, I ain't trying to critique nothing on that, but she looked like she knew what she was doing.
That's one of them, man. Hey, maybe, but I ain't telling nobody. No. But no, it's a lot of nudity and a lot of little sex and nudity, but it's I guess it's tasteful, I guess.
In as much as it can be, it is pretty tasteful. I think one of the differences, like I said, like the way they utilize sex in Game of Thrones is very much I don't want to say quite lowbrow, but it's like, you know, it's folks in brothels, you know, it's like it's not just two people having sex.
Right. It's not a sensual love scene between two people that love each other. It's always some humping that they caught like real quick. Somebody walking in, some people humping, or you know they'll cut in. Somebody be banging somebody. You know, it's like you know it's never a tender love scene. They did that kind of like once with somebody who didn't even have a. They did kind of a tender love scene with Grey Worm and the translator, but that's a whole nother animal to tackle.
right. But so like
that's how it was in Game of Thrones.
It was kind of artful with it on The Witcher.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they had the big orgy, and then Yennefer do most of the sex scenes, but she went through her transformation where she's no longer deformed, and now she's hot, and you know she's probably gonna, test out her new body.
Yeah, there's a scene when all the other sorceresses are undergoing their ascension, And so like they're pointing out to the viewer all the things that they changed about themselves. And there's one chick, like, all she did was give herself better breasts.
Oh, wow.
It's like, so the first thing you see in that scene is just a close-up of her cleavage.
Oh, I saw that, and I couldn't stop looking because the way they had her dressed and the way they, when they show her, it's so, you can't not look at her cleavage.
Like, the whole shot is about her cleavage.
Right,
like,
but they got other things in the shot, but her cleavage stands out. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm looking, I'm like, this can't just be male gaze. There had to be a camera trick to focus your eyes right there, because I can't look away.
What the camera trick was, I couldn't stop looking at the cleavage. So anyway,
oh man.
So yeah, like I said, it's a good show, man. I actually, I enjoyed it from a casual fan standpoint because I never was familiar with the. the game or the books. I didn't even know this property existed until they talked about it. And I heard there's big fans. Now, this is why I'm gonna get your final opinion.
Right.
As a fan of the games, you're the fan of the games, right? Not the books.
Right.
Fan of the games. How do you like this? As far as being,
I love it, man.
Right,
like
to the game.
From the jump, like because I know a lot of people were concerned when they first said they had Henry Cavill playing Geralt, but like from the second he hits the screen, it's like, dude, that's Geralt. Like,
I don't see what people was worried about. I mean, dude ain't got no emotion.
Right. I think it was just like, you know, they had seen him as Superman and they had seen him in Mission Impossible, and it's like, I don't know if he can pull off Geralt. You know, I know like a lot of folks were just worried about the look and the sound, but like, that voice is spot on, man.
I'm saying that's what some people say. It seemed like he was imitating the game, but you know, I'm cool because I don't know the game.
Right.
But it do sound like sometimes it sounds like sometimes he putting on a fake voice. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they say, "So my name is," you know, it's like, dude, that ain't your voice. Stop it. You know, but you get used to it after, you know, you watch it a few episodes. But originally when he first talked, you'll be like, man, why this dude put on a fake voice? Yeah, my name is Geralt, and I have no emotions or feelings. I brood and I fight. That is all. You know?
I mean, because there was a little bit of that Lego Batman.
Yeah,
I know what you, you know, but it does work for me, you know, especially like being as used to hearing the voice from the games. Like, I can hear the character when he talks. So.
Yeah, so it's a fun show for a casual fan if you ain't familiar with it, and as you say, it's good for if you're a fan of the game too. So that's a win-win.
Like I've already talked to a couple of my friends that, you know, were big into Game of Thrones into giving it a look. So, you know, if you just need that kind of dark fantasy thing in your life, this will do it.
But make sure you let them know that the tone is different because. If you come in thinking it's gonna be just like Game of Thrones, you're gonna be disappointed because the tone is a little more tongue in cheek on this. Where people die, but it almost feel like it's not like a Game of Thrones. It felt more realistic the way when people die.
Yeah,
when people die, it's kind of like, okay, that's what's next.
Yeah. I think so. Like one of the things is like with this, like they're very much understanding of the fact that they're living in as much as it's a thing, the Dark Ages. And also, magic and monsters is just a fact for people, for everyday folks in this.
Yeah.
You know, there's vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. So don't go in the woods at night. You know, it's like this is something people know about. So when someone goes missing in the middle of the night, it's like, they probably got killed by some corpse eating thing. It's whatever.
Right. So, like I said, it's a fun series, man. Especially when you on when you on Netflix and you just like, man, I just need something to watch. Definitely a good. I recommend it, even because I'm not into fantasy and I still enjoyed it. So that's a plus too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you got to be into it, you know, like heavily to enjoy the action and to follow the story. So I think it's good, man. I'm gonna give this series. I give it a dope, man. I give this series a solid dope. I enjoyed it. I can watch it and I can recommend it. And I think Henry Cavill becomes tolerable after a while. At first, I was thinking, man, this dude just putting on a fucking voice. And after a while, I started liking his character and started, going with him and wanted him to succeed or whatever. And then I saw him getting pissed off at people and all that stuff. I'm like, isn't this going against the character? But I don't know the character, so I can't say. When he was like getting pissed off and yelling and shit, like, is that the character, or is that?
That's pretty much the character. It's one of those things where it's like, there's always that guy like he never loses his cool, but when he does, he goes off.
It's something you better stand back.
Right.
So all right, give it your rating.
I am gonna say perfunctorily that my rating comes with a bit of an asterisk behind it because I'm like heavily biased. But I'm giving this one an epic. Like,
Okay.
I've been rewatching this in my spare time, man. Like,
Okay.
I'm down on this show so much.
So, excuse me. That is good for somebody that's a fan of the game. That's not saying, "Oh, it ain't like the game, but it'll do." No, it's actually a good. And I don't know about the books. Have you read any of the books?
I haven't had a chance to go too deep into the books yet.
I heard that it's accurate to the books too.
Even the author of the books, Andrei Sapkowski, like, he's big into this series. Like, and they made another series in Europe, and like he was pretty down on that one. Talking about the stuff they did wrong, and everything. So if nothing else, that's a good mark.
Yeah, so good show. Excuse me. Good show. Make sure you check it out. We're gonna wrap up this review. Thanks for checking out the video, and excuse me. Please subscribe to the channel.
Feel free to drop a comment down below. Did you agree with what we had to say about it? Did you disagree? What did you like and not like about the series? Whatever. Just let us know.
All right, yes. And we are out of here.
Peace.